Hello, back again for another Sun Transit report. It's Friday the 29th of March, and at 17:15 GMT, the Sun transits into Gate 21, Line 1. So it's a whole new gate today. The Sun in Gate 21, Line 1 is called Warning. The Earth that is grounding it, the energy there is in Gate 48, again, of course, in the Line 1, and it's called Insignificance. We're told that the use of force is a last resort. And that's the warning in this line. And it goes two ways. It means that for others, it's a warning that they should respect the power that is present in this Gate 21. And it's also a warning for the Gate 21 itself against using force. Because once you start using force against someone, it doesn't leave you very many options of where to go from there. On the Earth side of things, we are investigating what is practical and deserves attention. There are solutions which are logical, we're still in logical circuitry here, but they must also be practical. Gate 48 is really interested in what's practical. This gate it wants the practical solution. It doesn't want an abstract idea. They are not really going to get very much attention in this logical gate of depth, which is also called the well. At 9:14 this morning, the moon went into Gate 14. So Gate 14 is called the Gate of Power Skills, and it's a deeply material gate. In the I Ching, there's an image of a cart that is piled high with possessions. It actually calls this gate possession in great measure. So it's about having everything that we need in order to pursue our correct direction in life, because the 14 leads up to Gate 2, and that is the seat of our driver. That is the direction that we're going in. So this gate is followed by Gate 34 at 20:06. GMT again, of course, and this is the Gate of Power. So clues in the title. This is pure, potent power. It's a source of energy that is individual in nature, just like Gate 14 is. And therefore, it's not an energy or a power that's always shared with others, although it can be incredibly empowering for others. So these are the highlights for today. These are the energies that we have. So if you're ready and interested, let's open the box and see what else we can find. There is a separate video overview for this gate, which goes into the line in a little more depth. There's a sort of a general thing. You could watch that if you'd like to before we go into the lines. It's a first line day, so this is the day for Sherlock Holmes to get his magnifying glass out and peer meaningfully at small objects. First lines give us the foundation of the hexagram. They can tell us a lot about the nature of the whole. The lifetime learning in this 21:1 is use of force as a last resort. Lifetime learning, remember, is not something that we're born knowing. We have to grow into it. It comes with time and it comes with experience. So that tells you that probably there's going to be a lot of force used here, which will not end up well for this 21 line 1. We are told, Ra tells us, Ra tells us that Gate 21 demands respect. And when it's correct in its expression, it will receive it quite naturally. The Detramat warns us that the power in this gate, if it's not expressed correctly, well, then the respect has to be asked for or demanded. And it rarely has the same flavor when it's demanded. And this foundation line is called warning. So imagine that you have two Gate 21 teachers. Okay, so one walks into a classroom and the students know exactly where they stand with this teacher. They know where the boundaries are, they know what will happen when they cross those boundaries, and there's a respect that's inherent in the control that this teacher has over their class. And the other teacher doesn't have the same kind of control at all. They're the ones that they walk in and the students hardly even notice that they're there and they don't stop talking and they have to raise their voice and say, I'm in charge in this classroom, you will do what I tell you. And of course, that's pretty empty, pretty meaningless. Kids see straight through that. And so you've got no power and it doesn't earn anybody's respect. And once you start using any empty threats or anything like that, you lose all control. Any control that you might have had just goes. If you start using force, again, the respect is likely to go. And this is the illustration of that desperate Gate 21 who's almost begging for respect. And there's no power in begging. There's no control there at all. So in the overview of Gate 21, I mentioned the importance of education for this gate. They have a responsibility to the tribe. And if they're educated as to the nature of their responsibilities, they can serve the tribe correctly without resorting to force. Very important point. It might be that they are not accepted, of course, and that people will resist them and then force may be necessary. So the education here goes both ways because the 21 needs to be educated themselves as to their responsibilities and their power. And they in turn need to educate others to let them know their process, informing them, that what they're doing is going to be of benefit. Let me get on with my job. And it's that kind of thing. So 21s, they are really a force to be reckoned with. They're not to be messed about with. And that's just the way that it is. It's the mechanic of the gate. It's not personal. And it's an essential part of our program. And we know that because it's here. It's here. There's a gate for it. The energy of it is in our world. And it's not something that human design created. This hexagram 21 and the keynotes that go with it, they come from the I Ching, which are very old. I Ching has been around a very long time. So this is part of our environment control. We need control in our society to establish order. So the warning, that is the name of this line, like education, it also goes in two ways. It's got others need to respect the power of the 21. So there's a warning there that you need to respect this. And it's also a warning to the 21 itself that once they use force, they lose respect. So warning, the first line, it's the foundation of this hexagram. It tells you so much of what you need to know about the energy here and the basis of control in a way. What it's saying is don't interfere. I'm warning you, don't interfere. This is part of a manifestor channel. And manifestors can get really angry when their process is disturbed. It's part of how their aura operates. It's why it's called closed and repelling. Because they're in their aura, they're manifesting away, and they don't want to be disturbed. So informing is a big part of this process as well. If you can inform someone that you're going to take control, then that's a whole other thing than just marching in and taking control. So the mechanic needs to be respected here too. This can be a deeply painful gate to have as a child. I mentioned this in the overview, because you've been born into this body that wants to be in control, that needs to be in control, that is designed to be in control. But you're a child, and so you're dictated to by your parents, by your school, by your brothers and sisters, maybe even by your friends, what to do. Gate 21 is connected to the heart muscle itself. And because of the tension that this gate can bring when it's not allowed to be in control, that can put an enormous strain on the heart muscle. And so education, again, is really important. We have to educate our children as to their true nature. And always the dilemma for the 21 is to find a way to get respect so that they're not interfered with. They're over there doing their thing. We'll just let them get on with it. But they can't get that until they learn how to control things. So you have another one of those infinity loops. The 21 has to find a way to get respect, but they can't get respect until they learn how to control things, and round it goes. Children with a 21 can be given some responsibilities, some small things over which they can have some control. Maybe if there is a pet in the family, they could have the responsibility for feeding it. They can be in control of its grooming and exercise schedules, that kind of thing. They could be the one who decides what they wear when they're outside of the school environment, or perhaps how they decorate their room. Any little things like that can really help to support a 21 child in their process of learning about who they are. And a child, of course, with a 21-1 who hasn't learned how to control responsibly, well, they can suffer greatly. Actually, everybody around them can suffer greatly. So the grounding for this hunter in gate 21 is found in gate 48. And this is the gate of depths. It's also called the well. And the line 1 here is called insignificance, which is another one of those words, isn't it? It's described as a taste for recognizing what is practical and deserves attention. It's a projector channel, and so we have a mention of recognition here. Ra used to tell people who had this line, you are going to be able to have an understanding of many things, but the only things that you will get to experiment with are those things that are practical and are really deserving of somebody else's attention. So lots of references there to both the nature of the channel, the nature of the gate, the nature of the stream. And he weaves it all together. Experiment is all about, it's in logical, so it's all about experimenting. Logical is also called the understanding circuit. Oh, it's practicality in the 48th gate. Now the well has two sides to it, lots of dualities today. It has the capacity to recognize and understand patterns that are of benefit to humanity. This is a collective process. And on the other side, it has the recognition of the patterns and all the trivia that can be connected to those patterns. Trivia isn't good or bad. When you think about it, one person's trivia is something that's hugely meaningful for somebody else. So how does the gate 48 here ground gate 21? And again, let's look at some keynotes and have a play. Let's see what can be woven together here. Perhaps it's a day for recognizing that finding a solid foundation of respect lies in the depth of practical solutions, which can then reduce the need for force. Or not. Let's always get the or not in there. Play with them. These are the keynotes. Maybe if you're gaining some familiarity with these, then you can make up your own story here. Why not have some fun with it? It's not going to end the world if we get a keynote wrong. And it's fun to play with them and see what comes out. And you can say, oh, I never really looked at it in that light before. That's interesting. So, well, just hold it gently, hold it lightly and play. So the moon is in gate 14 and it goes into gate 14 at 09:14 a.m. Of course, 09. Sorry, stating the obvious. This is the gate of power skills, and it's focusing, it's bringing the focus of the moon onto the power that we have to follow our unique direction in life. This is something which ultimately then benefits the direction of the totality. It's an activation that is bringing us a channel actually for a few hours because it's joining up with gate 2, which is in Jupiter. And so we're ending up with the channel of mutation and coming up into the channel of the beat. I didn't quite say that right, did I? I got distracted by a pigeon. Okay, so we've got the 2 is in Jupiter, which is matching up with the moon in 14 for a little while. And we've got beneath that, we've got the channel of mutation because we have the 3 in Mercury and the 60 in Pluto. So we have this thing coming straight up the middle of the body graph from the root right up to the G center there. So it's carrying the energy to sustain creative work. And then also that carries the gift of using that work to empower others. If I turn my camera around, it will fly away, but there's a wee birdie sitting on my windowsill giving me an evil eye because I'm not feeding it. Sorry, it's very distracting. I should have to close my curtains. So like the first gate that we had yesterday, this is about following your own direction in life. It's individuality. That's what it's all about. Follow your own direction, march to the beat of your own drum. Gate 34 comes in at 2006, and this is the gate of power. This is where we're told that power is only great when its display or use serves the common good. And yet it's a gate in individuality. So this is quite an interesting little play, isn't it? So power should be used for yourself in individuality. So where I came from with this is that it's coming back to strategy and authority again, because if you are using your power correctly, then it's going to serve the common good because you'll be empowering other people with your use of it. So the moon moving out of gate 14 and into gate 34, we lose that one channel from the 214, but we gain the channel of power. So the 57, because 57 is in the nodes, and that links up with gate 34. So there's a lot of power in today's transit. And with this channel, we can perhaps tap into the early warning system that our body has in gate 57 for keeping us safe, because it's, see, completely gone, distracted, open head, blackbird. It's there. It's like it keeps doing that to me because on the sultanas. So I'm going to finish this transit and go finish a blackbird. No, I'm going to finish this transit and go feed a blackbird. Well, I'm not going to finish the blackbird. That would be cruel. So yes, gate 57, intuitive awareness. So you may find yourself with a sense of being on guard or alert. Okay, that was really interesting. Thank you so much. I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.